Start now. Here we are. I am so excited. This is a really, really cool interview that I'm so excited to do with Sheila Wyatt. And she is it seems very, understated to say that she's a professional organizer, because she is so much more than a professional organizer. And today we're going to learn all these cool things as to why you got into the business, what you do. I mean, she really transforms people's lives. And I can understand, not that I have been a client of yours yet, but yeah, right. I know. She's here. Actually, we film in the corporate office, and she's like, can I use your restroom? And I'm like, oh, this is not the studio. No. This is like the chaos behind the scenes here. So I have always been intrigued with organization, and it's something that I've always been someone that I'm very in tune with energy and spaces. However, being an artist, I don't think very organized, because we are constantly doing things and reorganizing and this and that. So I'm thrilled that you're here. Thank you so much. Thank you. And so Sheila, I want you to share with us, how did you get into this?
So I got into this because I work for Outback Steakhouse, and I had moved to Dominican Republic to open up an Outback Steakhouse in 2000 with my husband at the time and my daughter, who was 12 months. When I got down there, my mom came to visit me, and she brought me an Oprah Winfrey magazine, and it had an article about an organizer. And so when I read that article, which I still have torn out, I still have that article. And when I read that article, I was like, this is me. This is everything I've ever wanted to do. I didn't know it was a job. So didn't have the internet back then, I didn't have a computer. And so I made business cards and made flyers, and I came back from Dominican Republic, and just, this is what I'm doing. And so I flyered cars, and I passed out business cards, and I got my first client, and it just hasn't stopped since then. So 19 years.
Wow.
Going into my 19th year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you saw this article of somebody that did that.
Yep.
And then you thought, I can do this.
Yes. I've always loved to organize. I've always, as a little girl, you've got girls that play with Barbies and play with their hair and dress them up. I organized the Barbie house. I'm like, oh, let me organize all that stuff. So I'd set up all the house, or I'd organize my friends' closets. I was the friend you'd like, oh, come over. And I'm like, let me clean all your room, So that's just what I've always done. It's just a way my brain works. It's like putting a puzzle together.
It is. And I think that I admire people that think like that. And what I love about it is that it's an actual career. So
it blows my mind.
Yeah.
Every time I'm like, I can't believe this is a career.
It's like a professional shopper.
Exactly.
Hey,
exactly.
You get to spend other people's money and have fun doing something you love. And that's what's so cool about so many different careers. It's like, for me, I get to paint people's faces for a living.
Right.
How nice is that?
Yeah.
Sure beats putting on roofs or something, that, and we need someone that loves doing every different component, and the fact that people can find you. So, okay, so share with me a little bit about the type of clients that find you and work with you, and why would we hire you? How does somebody know, hey, I need to give Sheila a call because she can help me with this?
I have been 100% referral based this whole time. So it's just one person telling another person, you need to, you've got to have Sheila. So most of my clients, we get to, life is messy. And I work with the majority, I do have some male clients, but the majority of my clients are female. Successful women, successful mothers, stay-at-home moms, entrepreneurs, everything, all different types of businesses, all different types of of walks of life, I would say. And so most of the time people are coming to me when they've got to a point where they're like, I'm just overwhelmed, or I'm in this state, like I'm a mess, I don't know what to do. And they say that to somebody that goes, call Sheila. So I help them with physical organization of space. I really dive into what their goals are and try to help them become more efficient and achieve those goals. Basically, I want to be the best, Brownie troop leader ever. I want to be the best attorney with kids at home and a wife, and really helping people with their time management, becoming more efficient, and really finding joy. And sometimes we just get cluttered with too much on our plate, too much in our house. It's all too much sometimes. So I just help, purge things out and get them to their goals.
That is so cool. So one of the things that I have to say is, and I think I'm probably not alone, I'm assuming, but it's opening your garage door every day and driving into chaos.
Right.
I mean,
that's not driving in at all.
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
you can't get in there at all. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so
when
I
you
a lot
say
of times,
that, because that really is, I would think, like, on a psychological level, it's wearing you down.
So I think, like what we were talking about right before the interview, there's a lot of ideas of how things are supposed to be. I'm supposed to have my car in the garage. I'm supposed to have everything in order. I'm supposed to have everything look like, HGTV TV show, or Martha Stewart's, pantry. And that's not a reality. Like, most people aren't able to stop their lives to get their space into the position that they want it to be in. Mm-hmm. So that's why I have a job. They hire me, I come in and I can get that done, because that's what I'm completely focused on. I'm not worried about the kids. I'm not worried about, the husband or them coming home from school or whatever they've got going on. I'm just totally focused on the physical space while I'm there. So that's another thing, is I figure out what the messages are that they're living under, the perfection that they're supposed to have, and really get my clients to understand that it's not about perfection. It's about mindfulness, and like, how can I live the life I want to live within my home, and reduce the clutter and get rid of the things that just don't serve me presently.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I had a client a couple years ago, and she turned me on to the Marie Kondo book.
Yes.
The tidying, or Japanese art of tidying, or something like that.
Yeah. Amazing book.
It is.
Great. Quick read.
Yes.
Really, really good.
And I got the audio book.
Okay.
That's me.
I know.
So in the car. So I'm listening to my audiobook while I'm working on I took, it was around the holidays is kind of a cool time, because you just, the energy's different, and I really liked her method. It definitely helped. I have to say, I've kept things in place on how, I fold some of my clothes and how they fit in the drawers and things like that. But it is something that is a little bit difficult to, unless you're really disciplined, which I'm the kind of person that can kind of make a mess and then walk away. And then I'm like, I gotta go back and do it. Why didn't I do it from the first place? So how can you help somebody like that?
That was a lot. You're like, make it work.
Is there a pill?
No, there isn't. And people are like, oh, your house must be perfect. Tell me everything. It's not. I have 4 teenagers at home.
Wow.
There's 6 of us at home. So the ideal house in my head, if I was living under that idea, I'd be miserable every single day, because it's not. Laundry is a huge issue.
Yeah.
And nobody likes doing it. So for me, I feel like there's 3 areas in the house that when those are completely out of control, that's when life gets you're just stressed. So your laundry, your kitchen, because you clothe yourself with laundry, and then you feed yourself in the kitchen, and paperwork, because you're paying bills, or there's things that are important that you have to tangibly have all these papers.
Yes.
So when those areas, those are the 3 core areas in the house that I try to focus on first, figure out what's the most important part. Every client's different. It's all the same stuff and it's all the same idea, but every client's priorities are different.
Mm-hmm.
So setting up systems that are sustainable is really what I think my talent is, you know, to where people can follow it. And again, it's not about perfection. It's not about keeping it perfect all the time. And I can't touch, you know, that drawer of sweaters that I can see everything. And if I pull one out, then I can never use them again. But once the systems are set up, I think that they're easy. You know, you have to find a system for your laundry, and commit the time to getting that done.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's
my
like working out
2 to 4 loads a day.
Wow.
So if somebody's not doing it, then we got a week, you know, like somebody, like I've got it. And that's been a challenge and I've tried every single way, color-coded baskets, color-coded hangers, everybody's, you know, the whole laundry system in the laundry room, like put it all in there. And then I'm stuck doing everybody's laundry and no, keep your laundry in your room. So I think another thing that helps me is I understand I am my client. You know, and so a lot of times like, I'm just not, you know, I hear these words that just break my heart. I'm a bad mom, or I'm not, you know, I just don't know how to do this, or I'm just stupid, or like all these negative things that we say to ourselves as women, instead of going, I'm a great mom. I'm present. I'm doing, you know, I'm doing the best. We're all doing the best that we can, you know, or even if you're single, not having kids, you know, we still tell ourselves like everything's supposed to be this way. And there's not one way. It's the way it works for you individually in your home, and finding what works for you and setting up simple solutions to get those things done. You know.
So one of the things I also find is that when you move is when you realize, why do I have all this stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
That's where I do 90% of my work is move management.
Okay.
Which like, I don't, you know, people, I work with a lot of people and they're like, just start a moving company. I want to start a moving company. So I work with a lot of.
It's a little different than what you do.
It is. Yes. However, I've moved a lot in my life. I've moved multiple times. I moved a lot as a child, moved a lot as an adult, because that was just my norm. I felt like, doesn't everybody move every year? And I loved it because I love clearing everything out, moving into a new space, setting it up. And then finally I was like, okay, don't move anymore. So I move a lot of clients, because it's a very stressful time, and everybody has a horrible move story. You know, they broke my grandmother's china. They broke all my stuff. It never showed up. You know, they dropped my favorite chair and broke it into shreds. So I love getting into a house before they're moving, help them eliminate the stuff so they're not paying to move those things, pack everything up, label everything where it's going, get it moved, and then set the whole house up from scratch. And then do maintenance from there on, like through the years. Just help them. Sometimes I go once a year, twice a year. Sometimes I go once a month.
Oh, okay.
Just a tweak.
Okay.
And find out, you know, what works and what doesn't work. I do my best, you know, but it's not my life. So they might like, okay, this didn't quite work for me. Okay, let's tell me what does work, you know, and rearrange stuff.
So you have like your complete, you know, go in there and, you know, and then
blow it all out. It gets really messy first because you're pulling everything out.
Yeah, walk us through a little bit, kind of the process of like a client. What would be, do you deal a room at a time, or do you do like, I need to clear out my whole house? And by the way, I just want to share here, we've got like a lot of love that's coming your way from Tammy Lally. Hey, Tammy.
Hi, Tammy.
Bill Hill. Hello. Alyssa.
Hi, Alyssa.
Yeah. So we've got a whole bunch of people. I know, Tony Caithness. So you friends with Tony Caithness? She lives in Dallas. Hi, Tony. So thank you guys. I know it's just, it's always been so fascinating to me, this whole thing. Okay. So
let me just say this, like my hands are sweating. I hate being on camera. So we were talking about this. She's like, let's do this. And I was like,
we're just having tea.
Sure. With a camera. So I'm just, it's nerve wracking to me, which is wonderful, because as I step into this, like I said yes to doing this, and then immediately I was like, no, what am I doing?
We're just chatting with friends.
Yeah.
Hi, Julie. Hi, Carmen.
But it gives me hi, Julie. It really has given me an opportunity to understand how uncomfortable my clients get, and really be, it's, you know, like I see you. I see all your stuff. I see everything, and people are like, you know more about me than my therapist. I'm like, of course I do, because you only tell your therapist, but I'm in your space and I understand how uncomfortable that is. I've really gotten that lately. I've been hearing that a lot from clients, like, this really doesn't feel good. And I'm like, this feels great. What are you talking about? I love it. This is what I love to do. A lot of people, they just feel judged, and I'm so not judging. I have a client I'm working with right now. She's like, I don't understand how you're not judging me right now. I'm like, I'm not, there's no judgment in how the space is now. And I almost forget, like, after I do a home or I set something up, I don't remember what it looked like before. We talked about that. Like, when you do makeup, you're just like, I don't know.
Don't look at me. I'm just thankful you popped into my studio,
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not judging.
I'm just happy to be here.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for me, I'm sure kind of like, for me, like, I see every face like this blank canvas that, when we look at ourselves, we're looking into, the mirror going, or, oh, the eyelid, or damn, I'm getting wrinkled, or this, or, like, I don't look at you and go, wow, she looks old and her eyelids are this, like, I'm looking at it like a whole new opportunity of how I can express my artistry with, and combine that with your personality, which sounds a lot of like what you do.
It is. And that's the thing too, is like, when I go in and I'm like, I might see, she's like, oh my gosh, don't look at my mess. And sometimes I'm like, there's no mess. What are you talking about?
That equates to pores in our
right.
Pores or wrinkles.
Don't look at my, right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, it's like, don't look at my mess. And then when I get in there, I'm like, it's a lot of talking, which when I first started, I felt like, oh, I'm talking too much. I need to be doing. But talking through, like, where someone is in their life, because I feel like it's what's inside the house is just a physical manifestation of what's going on emotionally.
Absolutely.
So when we have those conversations, like, this is what I would like it to look like. And then I help them get there. Like, okay, I can see the mom that's just like, I can't even have dinner with my husband. I can't even enjoy time with my friends, whatever that their conversation is around that, because all the mental chatter that's going on. I've got laundry to do, and I've got this, and my tasks, and this, and work, and da-da-da-da. So really minimizing the physical clutter eliminates the mental clutter and allows you to find joy. So, and that's why her book is so great, because that's exactly what it is.
So when are you coming out with the book?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. So I did like that perspective, because I have to say, I've bought books in the past on how to organize, and you're just creating like this, you're just like, for me, okay, having, a folder for this, and then a folder for that, and then a folder, I get so wrapped up into how cute my freaking folders look.
Right.
And, oh, I should go out. And then I end up spending all this money to get all of these cute things to just shuffle around all my crap and waste my time.
And money. Yeah. So that's
so
like, I
productive.
don't walk in, with all this stuff and go, we're going to use all these items to organize you. So I tend to organize the space and then make suggestions for what I think. Here's a container that would work for this. This would, and it's all about what would make you more efficient in that space. How can you access it faster? There's only so many minutes in a day. And then having that space for once it's pulled out to get back into.
Yeah. And it's amazing when you pull out all of that stuff, which that was the thing also, is like,
that's where the overwhelm comes in too. So you pull it out and you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do that. I can't, now it's everywhere and I'm going to run away from it.
Especially in the office with all the papers, and then
so much.
Oh, look at this photo, and look how young I looked in there, and you can start going down
and you just go, and that's why I can do it, because I'm not attached. You're like, there's no emotional attachment for me, for your stuff.
Sure.
Right. So it's that's why it seems like it's easy for me just to go and or having, and not just me, but an organizer come in and do it, because we're not attached to your things. So we can help you, and it's just a different set of eyes, and help you to, okay, give me the pictures. Let's get the pictures with so you can get them. It's a big thing with the California fires right now, or with hurricanes in Florida. Like, being able to access the things that are important to you is so important, because if you've only got minutes or hours or days, if you're preparing for a hurricane and you're deciding to leave, you want to know where can I grab those important papers? Where can I grab
that's
those?
a great, yeah.
You know, those
Yeah.
things. And that's something that you're like, it's just all over. I've got pictures here and stuff here and, you know, my mom's stuff over here. Like I try to get everything that's really important to you so you know where that's at so you can grab it at a moment's notice as well. It's just another part of, there's so many things.
There's a
so
lot
much,
of,
there's so much.
Yeah.
It's just all over. But yeah, so when you asked about a typical, like the process. So say for a kitchen, which is my favorite part to do in the house. I love kitchens because I love to cook. I have tons of kitchen stuff. I have a lot. People are like, oh, you probably just have these, you know, exactly what you need. No, I have a lot of kitchen stuff and I'm not letting it go. Just make sure I have a space for it. So everything comes out. You know, everything comes out of all the cabinets. You figure out what works for you. What, you know, what type of, you know, do you eat raw? Are you vegan? Do you need pots and pans? You know, do you have pots and pans and you're like, I don't even cook. Coming up with what does your life look like and what items do you need? You know, and so just putting stuff back and then donating the rest.
That sounds good. Yeah. Yeah. So, well, and also, you know, blending, let's say a couple or, you know, yes.
Just did that recently.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Or having, you know, for example, my mother's 89 years old.
Yes.
So, you know, she's got her wing of the house and I have mine and she likes to cook and I don't.
Right.
And, you know, so there's a lot of these things, you know, her style is very different from mine. So we like, these are my rooms. These are your rooms.
Set those boundaries. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that I could see where and how people even utilize their space is different.
Absolutely.
Too.
Yeah. Blending families, which I got that experience with my husband, and we're a blended family. So with 5 kids, but 4 teenagers. Yeah. And they were young when we were first blended. And that was exciting because I'm like, I get to actually, you know, experience that for myself, what I've done for other families. And even couples, like I have a new couple that we just blended, you know, 2 singles into a home. And there's just personality differences, you know, it can create a lot of stress. The last client that I had that was moving in, she was a single professional woman, you know, with a whole house that was all her stuff, moving in, you know, to an already set up home. So, bringing in the items that were important to her, blending it in, moving them in together, and they never had to touch a box. So we just came in, brought all the stuff in and incorporated it in. So it was really stress relieving, I think, and smooth. So
that's
just
nice.
Like, okay, I didn't have to, you know, they're not arguing about, well, that's my counter and that's it. It's a third party coming in going, let's just blend your kitchens together and make it work.
So you have this special magic wand.
I do.
That you can bring in and sprinkle the pixie dust and relieve, because that is a lot of pressure. They don't even have to have that conversation at this point because they've already entrusted you.
Right.
That you can come in and make that. So we have Robert here saying, Sheila did an amazing job with our business and residential move from Vegas to Orlando. Wow.
Yeah, so I flew out to Las Vegas and spent 2 days managing the movers and packers in Orlando and with his wife. And I had already seen the house that they had purchased here in Winter Park. So flying out to Vegas to go, okay, what furniture is here? What are they keeping? What are they getting rid of? Where's it going to go over there? So I went over, got everything packed up in 2 days, figured out the priorities with his wife. And so him and his business, and then flew back because it was what was it? I think it was prom weekend. It was my daughter's prom. So I'm like, I can take this job if I can be back for prom. So I flew back like Friday night. I know. Right? Flew back on Friday night, and then the truck came, you know, a full week later. So I was there 7 o'clock in the morning when the truck showed up, and everything just got put in the place that it needed to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you work in conjunction with a designer, or I know you were saying also that you can also kind of help stage, or how does that work?
So I do not promote myself as an interior designer, or as I design organizational systems and organizational space based on function. I'm not an interior designer, decorator, and I don't stage homes, as that's a whole other profession. Okay. Now I can stage a home. you know, if they're like, I just want to stage my house. But there are professional staging companies, and I do work with them, and where they can come in, say I've moved someone out and they have their house on the market, then the stagers can go in and do that. Gotcha. So I really focus on my client's physical organization of their space through a move. And it can go anywhere from just managing the movers or completely packing, moving, unpacking. And like I said, some clients never touch a box. I had a client who I said to the husband, you never have to lift a finger. Well, unfortunately, he's kept saying that. His wife's like, we've moved a year ago, and he still says, I don't have to lift a finger. So I'm like, let me reword that. I meant during the move. Yeah. So
I love that. Well, you know, he took it as truth. He must be a very analytical person.
Yeah, he's like, you told me I didn't have to do anything.
Writing.
Yeah. So yeah, so I fly all over the country and do this. I have a client where their father was ill in Washington, and she's like, I need his apartment cleared out and everything. I'm like, well, let me find you an organizer in Washington. She's like, no, you're going. So I flew out to Washington and cleaned out his entire apartment, got the car sold, brought back the personal items that she wanted, and 2 days later, it was done.
Wow.
So she didn't have to
that fast in 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days. And I had it was 2 days. It was really fast.
Wow. So
I
you're just so efficient.
Yeah. It's just get it done. You know, I have an idea and I have the end game. You know, it's like, what's the end result that I want to have, and then just streamline how to get there.
You're like a football player.
Yeah, I'm a football player.
A football player of organization. I guess I know nothing about football, but it kind of sounded like that.
It did.
The end game, right?
Maybe because my son just got done playing football.
That's perfect. Okay, so now
I know what you're going to ask.
I know.
I know.
So I want to find out about the types of people that need organization. Okay. And we all know, like, the hoarders or the, you know, like, what level does it get to? Or, you know, I'm fascinated with the disorganization, I guess. And
that's why there's the show hoarders, because we like, you know, and people love to see you're like, what's the, you know, tell me the stuff that you find in a house, like the little secret.
Was there a sandwich from 1943? You know, like
in a backpack, in a student's backpack. Yes. Like, I'm telling you, find stuff. And you know, the mom's like, I'm mortified that there was a sandwich in the backpack and school ended 2 months ago. You know, I'm like, it just, you know, it happens. Yeah. So yes, there are sandwiches. I find all kinds of stuff.
I bet you do.
You know, there are two extremes. You have complete perfectionism. Mental health is, you know, something that's talked about a lot, not talked about enough. So I deal with a lot of that. You know, hoarding is definitely a mental health issue. I'm not a doctor, and I've gone into extreme hoarding situations, and it's devastating, and it takes a lot. Sometimes the best case scenario is where the person is moving out, going into, you know, it's usually a family member is come in and looking for intervention, wanting to get things cleared out. If they're staying in the space, and there is horrific, like I'm talking pathway from the door to the bedroom, in that case, I need a mental health professional to work with me, or they're dealing with that person's emotions. And I learned that early on. I do not take that on without having that support, because I'm not a psychologist. And a lot of times there's just a lot of grief, and, you know, life took a really bad turn at some point, and they just get buried, and family members don't know what to do, you know.
Well, there's probably a lot of shame around that situation.
Tons of shame. Tons of shame, tons of guilt.
And then a lot of times people they don't want to get involved, or they want to be nice, so they don't say anything about it. And
just let them be. There's different levels, you know, and my whole goal is helping the person that is, you know, like everything has to be perfect and show ready all the time, and they're living under this extreme pressure of perfectionism. And then you have the opposite, where it is the hoarders and I've got so much stuff, I'm buried under it. And there's many different levels of that. You know, you could walk into my office at one point last month. You know, I do a lot of donating, and we do a lot of donations to local charities and nonprofits. And so sometimes I've got to just get home. You know, I've filled the back of my Denali with every donation, and I've got to get to a soccer game or a football game or chorus or something for the kids, and it's got to get out of my car and goes into the office. So you could walk in my office and go, oh my gosh, what is this? You know?
Yeah.
So then I'm like, wait to the weekend and pack it up and get it over there. You know?
Uh-huh.
So I try to help people that are living in chronic disorganization just to find the balance, you know? So, and again, it's not about perfectionism. It's about your mindfulness of your way of living. Like, what brings you joy, and how is that? Usually my clients are buried with some, you know, their own level of clutter that they feel that they're living under. So
Yeah.
it's different for everybody.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the things? Okay, so here we go. So Julie's sharing. Sheila's an angel. She is super intentional with time, and she is very gentle with the process. We laughed and cried and laughed at the fact we were crying. She provides
a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's
Julie.
always tears. There's always tears. Yeah. I'm gonna cry because there's tears. Yeah. It's a very emotional process for people, you know, and so let's see.
She provides a transformational experience that is so worthy of the time it takes. She sees dead space and fills it with love. Oh my gosh, what an awesome testimonial, Julie.
Sweet.
That is so nice. And I think that is funny. Cindy says, sounds like she's in my head. What are some of the things that people say when you're done with the job? I mean, obviously, you know, Julie just said, a whole huge amount.
Yeah, and that's hard. Like we talked about that. It's hard to, you know, when you're like, she transforms people's lives, you know. Mm-hmm. That's a lot. That feels like that's a lot to take in, you know, but it happens. Like it really does. I'm not a big you know, I have a hard time promoting myself that way, but they feel lighter, you know. You just feel like once I'm going through the process right now, and this woman's just like, I hate this process. It gets messy, and then we're cleaning it up. And then the next day she's like, I slept so good. I felt so good. This space feels, I want to go in my closet now. You know, I had one mom who, she would call me and she's like, I go into my closet and I take a cup of tea and I just sit there in my closet. Because it's just like, I can see everything, and she loves it, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's what I hear a lot of, that they just are happy with what they have. And a lot of times they just need permission to let go of that stuff. Like they're looking for somebody else to go, it's okay to let go of it. You know, I've got all these shoes. I bought them all. I should keep them all. No, those hurt my feet. These are ugly. This is, you know, like, I think people feel like sometimes I find that they've kept things because they bought them. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So if I get rid of it, that means I made a mistake, or I made a bad choice, or, you know, whatever. But it might have worked for you at the time. Yeah. Maybe you bought it for that one outfit that night, and then, you know, 6 years later, they're no longer relevant, you know? Yeah. And so just getting having that second opinion, and it's like some people ask, it's like I'm asking you permission to get rid of the stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you are. It's just validation.
It is. And
we all need it.
We were talking a little bit about, you know, because of course our lovely parents can always bring a whole crap load of guilt.
We get those messages.
Yes.
Of like, this is, and if we think about it, they're messages that we're taking in as kids.
Oh, and they're the truth. So, you know, I grew up with that I'm a procrastinator.
Right.
You know, because my mom told me so. And, you know, you just don't get things done on time, or, you know, you're this or you're that. And so Sheila and I have done actually a course in common that is a very transformational course. And I went in with the intention of getting rid of my procrastination. Well, I kind of did, because I realized through that transformation that someone that is a procrastinator does not live my life, own a company, and do what I do.
Right.
You know,
right.
That's not the life of a procrastinator.
Right.
So it's kind of like what you're saying, you know, those, oh my gosh, you know, don't be wasteful or,
Yeah.
you spent good money
Be
for
wise
that.
with your money.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so what you do, so talk about a little bit, like you're providing, it's not like the stuff is going into the trash.
Yeah. So when we do purge a home, or closet, kitchen, what have you, I make sure that I'm giving back to the community and recycling the items. So I work with One Heart for Women and Children. Stephanie Bowman is in College Park. Sorry,
Okay.
She's in College Park, and her program is amazing. And I had worked with her and her family many years ago, like 12 years ago. I think I helped her parents get organized, and we had met. Feels like a whole lifetime ago. And I just recently was in College Park. I'm like, oh, let me drop this stuff off to her. And I had no idea she's got like a little Habitat for Humanity there.
Wow.
That goes right into the community, right into the hands of the homeless. Like there's people that are actually walking right in and getting items that they need. And so there was a lot of things that we did throw away that in years past, that now every single thing can be utilized and passed on, and they go right into her warehouse and into her store, and she can raise funds to do even more within the community.
Yeah.
So, and then, I'll come across construction item, like if someone's remodeled and there's things like that, go into Habitat for Humanity as a great resource as well. And I love donating women's clothing, children's clothing, and toys to Winter Park Day Nursery in Winter Park. My daughter works there, and it's just a great preschool that's there. And so I just try to make sure, people tend to let go of their items if they know it's going somewhere, not going into the landfill. And so just recycling those things and getting them to people that can actually use them.
Right. It's not serving us anymore. We've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a relationship.
Yep.
If it ain't working,
yes,
you just kind of have to part those ways. Somebody else will
love it. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, so that's kind of the beautiful thing about it. That is so cool. Okay, so I want to find out, what are some tips that we can do, if someone, let's say they can't hire you right away or they're thinking about it, what are some tips that can kind of help us live a little more organized, or something that you would just like to share?
Tips. So one thing that I always try to get my client, like I find in the age of technology, we tend to lose things, and we feel like, oh, we put it in the computer, we put it in our, on our Google Calendar, but we tend to forget, and it causes us anxiety because we don't have it. I'm a big proponent of a planner, physically writing stuff down.
I see this really cool.
My book.
Yes. That, so, and I like pens and paper. Yeah.
So I love pens, and this is an erasable pen. That's thing, so you can write in your colors and erase them.
Yeah, I love pens.
But I have bought every planner ever. Like when a new planner comes out, I think they've got me targeted on Facebook. They're like, here's a new planner, and I'm like, yes, I'll buy it and see what works. Erin Condren is my favorite, because Erin Condren. Yeah. So she's got just a basic calendar and then a timeline. So you've got your week by hours. So you can actually physically write down. I work with so many people that like, I don't have enough time, or they're beating themselves up for what they're not getting done. And when we actually take, from 7 a.m. till 10 p.m., Sunday through Saturday, and I fill in everything that they have on their plate, they don't have time to take a shower, So it's like, of course you feel this way, but because it's not down and it's in the computer, it's like when they can see it or they write it out, it's like, wow, I'm really overbooked. I'm really, no wonder, and then pulling the things out of their timeline, of their daily schedule that bring them joy and that they really love, and not the things when we just get hijacked, by life, so that the best plans get taken over. So a tip: calendar, writing it down.
So writing down everything. So how do you do, because, I'm still, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I still struggle with time management. And because my day can just, um, so do you plan out your week ahead of time? Do you plan it out every day? How does that work? What are some of the good tips for that?
So for me, I take Sunday night usually because my week starts on a Monday and everybody's different. Figure out what the beginning of your week is. So mine is Monday. I sit down on Sunday night, write down all my clients, write down all my kids' activities. I have an amazing husband that I could never get it all done if I didn't have him. So we are truly partners in juggling kids' schedules and all that. So I'm really, really blessed, and not everybody has that. And so I understand that. So it's just really about proper planning, and getting out what can I really get done in a day. And I tend to overbook myself. So I realized I was doing that a lot. I'm like, oh, if I have 15 minutes here, I can get something else done. I had to let go of that, okay, just take a minute, sip of coffee, and then go on to the next thing. So being realistic with my time, but planning it out on Sunday night, okay, what's my week look like? And then that changes, if the family gets hit with the flu or something like that, then then you just reset. It's just about resetting on a daily basis, whatever your plans are that you wanted to get done. So yeah. So Sunday night, that's what I do. I sit down with my book and write it all out and go, okay, this is what our week looks like, and hope that it all gets done. So
do you have, when you're organizing, do you have okay, this is my life schedule, and then this is what is a, top generating income schedule, or is it all together, or? So for business, for example, we have to obviously prioritize on certain, because you get dragged in the minutia, especially owning a business. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I really haven't hit my goals at all.
Right.
And because you're putting out fires and this and that.
I can give you myself as an example.
Okay.
Right. So I've had the same thing on my list for years. It's like, okay, I'm going to do my website. I'm going to get these things. I'm going to join these. I'm going to do this stuff. And I've been working, so I'm like, okay, I'm working. So I've struggled with being the business owner, business person, and doing my job. My job takes a lot out of me. And so as far as a calendar goes with my time schedule, it's all one calendar, write it all down. And then I have my business goals and those things that I try to, there's always going to be a list. It's never going to be done. And then I have the house list, and I've got the list of what the kids need to get done. And, so they know, I'm like, just put it on my desk. It's got to get written on the calendar.
Gotcha.
So I've got a calendar, a dry erase board calendar that's up for the kids to add stuff to, or for me to write stuff. So my husband look at it and go, okay, that's what we've got going on. But I don't separate business and for my timeline, I don't. I've got to get it all on there, because then balancing two calendars is where a lot of people fail. Because you're like, one doesn't, they don't match up. Google Calendar is amazing because it's, all in colors, and it can all be in one space, and you can have you can separate them out. But I think that it's a whole other list for managing your business.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah.
And that's a whole other dry erase board. It's like business to do. Like, what have I got going on? So especially, like managing clients, and what are the commitments that I've made to these families, these homes, these individuals, to get done for them. That's a whole list, that I have going on there. So, and then as well as my home. So I try to that's why having it all in one book is important. Having it all in one space where you can keep your list and you can access it and have it with you. And for some people it works. I'm not digital. I'm not, I've got a girlfriend. She's like, you can do all this on the computer. I tried. I don't. It's not me.
There is something really beautiful about having stuff written, writing it, and you're saying it. It becomes very tangible. Where I don't think that there is the same type of process with I do use Google Calendar. I think it is great.
Yeah.
But I kind of vacillate a little back and forth.
And I think that's with our age
I
too.
like that tangible.
Yeah,
and we're a little more old school too.
Yeah.
So
but it's coming back. I mean, there's planner. I mean, you see it at Staples, Office Max, everywhere. Target's got a whole planner aisle, and so I think that that people are realizing, like, I can, we still need some paper.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, when you're tactile, and
Yes,
it just makes it from the pen to my head, and it just stays there.
Yeah.
As opposed to putting it on the computer where it goes into wherever.
It's
the
true.
World Wide Web.
God forbid if we get hacked, right? Yes. Oh my gosh, this has been so much fun.
Thank you.
I definitely can relate to you a lot, because a lot of people that come to Studio Car as well, like we were talking about a particular client, and maybe this is one of the things that you guys can do is, makeup has a shelf life.
Yeah.
I had a client come in one time. So when we do a makeup lesson, actually we have clients come in and bring in their stuff. Mm-hmm. And I know you've like created some really beautiful, makeup areas, and that's like a huge trend now in these, palatial looking, closets and all of that. And you don't need so much stuff, and it goes bad as well. I mean, I think that when you are busy, now that is an area where we can help you with time management and a look. Like that look and so I remember one time this lady came in and she did like estate sales and stuff. She had makeup from the 70s in her bag that she had bought. Get this. Estate sale. An estate sale. She had dead people's makeup. Yeah. In her bag.
It gets passed down.
Seriously disgusting.
That goes back to people buying and spending money on things they feel like they're being wasteful. So that's that message that I can't throw it away because I've spent so much money on it. I've made a mistake. I have to keep it.
It was, and this was in the 2000s. So I was like, you need to send that to a prop master so they can use that for a vintage film, because there is no other purpose, and God forbid you put that on your skin. Yeah. It was just so interesting. But there is, kind of going through your stuff and making sure that it is current, that you're not, getting, there's just so much bacteria.
It's kind of
like that
replace your toothbrush every time you go to the dentist.
Yes.
If not sooner.
Yes.
It's the same thing. Mascara, makeup, lipstick, anything that is oil based is always going to.
Anything that's liquidy, and especially in our heat. Here in Florida, or keeping lipsticks in your handbags, or if your kids are touching that stuff, or like one of my clients said, every time my cat goes into my bathroom, they steal my makeup brush. The cat just loves the makeup brush and
playing with it. Yep.
Yeah. So, but anyhow, I love what you do. How can people contact you?
So I have my website is not live yet, but it's going to be there, SheilaWyatt.com. And then Facebook, Instagram, I have professional pages on both.
Yes. And we're going to put a link to,
But my phone number's on there. So my number. Yes. Call me my cell phone number. People are always like, I didn't want to give out your number. I'm like, give out my number. Totally. Yeah. So through Facebook, through your friends.
So that could be on our list of things to do for the new year.
Yeah.
Organizing ourselves. Mm-hmm. And what is like the number one question that you ask a client what they want to get accomplished? Like what motivates that client to want to organize?
Usually they feel overwhelmed or uncomfortable. There's just a sense of like, I'm not comfortable with how this is. Make it, where. And then I do a consultation. So just to make sure it's a good fit, so I'll come in the first time and then just have the client show me and tell me, and then I come up with the best solutions for you to make you more efficient and comfortable in the space that you're in.
I love it. Well, Sheila, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, she's been a wealth of knowledge. So we just need to ask ourselves, walk into a room, what makes us uncomfortable, and start to look at that.
Yeah.
To free up our space And then we're going to post also that great charity that you were talking about, where you
Yeah.
donate a lot of those things to.
Yep, and we've got a toy drive coming up. We're going to stock a toy room for Winter Park Day Nursery, so we're taking donations for gifts for the parents of the kids. They've got 56 children at that school, and so making Christmas and the holiday time special for them is something we're working towards.
That's great.
So right now,
so let's purge our things and have them
out there.
Be of service to other people and bring them joy and things that other people need too. So living more with less, right?
Absolutely.
Yay! Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to contact us at Studio Cara, you need a little holiday glam and a little beauty to sprinkle around. Also come see us, and Sheila, Wyatt, and we're going to post all kinds of good stuff here. So thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Bye.
Thank you.